Okay, let's unpack this. We've got a fantastic deep dive ahead of us into a film that, well, it captured hearts and definitely sparked a lot of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a film that feels instantly classic, yet somehow speaks to very modern struggles. It sort of dazzles you with charm, but keeps you rooted in reality.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's exactly what we're exploring today. Damien Chazelle's 2016 musical masterpiece, La La Land.
And for this deep dive, we've, pulled insights from quite a stack of sources. We're looking at everything from its plot and characters to the pretty ambitious production, its
Right.
box office performance, which was impressive, the critical response, and of course, its lasting legacy.
So our mission really is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights, helping you understand the incredible ambition behind making it, its huge cultural footprint, and, well, why it still resonates today.
Definitely.
Let's get right into that dream and dazzle them.
Okay, so La La Land, at its core, it's a musical, right? It explores the intertwined lives of Mia Dolan, an aspiring actress, and Sebastian Wilder, who's this really dedicated jazz musician. And they're both pursuing their dreams in Los Angeles.
It's a story lots of people can relate to, I think, especially anyone who's chased those big city aspirations.
Absolutely. And the film almost immediately just garnered this widespread acclaim. People loved the vibrant musical numbers, the emotional depth, and, that beautiful homage to classic Hollywood.
And the awards really hammered that home, didn't they? It ended up winning 6 Academy Awards.
6, yeah. Including Best Director for Chazelle.
And it even tied the record for the most Oscar nominations. 14 nods. Just incredible.
14. It was kind of unprecedented, that sweep. It wasn't just about technical skill. It felt like Hollywood was suddenly hungry for this original musical that was both nostalgic and kind of bittersweet.
Interesting point. Like a shift in what audiences wanted.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. It suggests that. And what's fascinating is how the film managed to blend this strong sense of, looking back nostalgia with a very contemporary story. And that unique mix, I think it really resonated with audiences who are, grappling with the same things: ambition, love, the reality of it all.
It's also just visually stunning, set against L.A., obviously. But it uses this innovative narrative structure over 4 acts. Each act is a different season.
Right, the seasonal structure.
And the visual storytelling, it's just enriched by this meticulous use of color reflecting their emotional journeys.
And you can't forget the score, that original jazz-infused score by Justin Hurwitz. He's worked with Chazelle a lot.
Oh, it's iconic. It really defines the film's whole emotional landscape, doesn't it?
Totally. And that whole approach, it positions it not just as another musical, but like a modern classic in the genre. It captures their struggles, but also talks about bigger themes: artistic integrity, sacrifice.
Yeah, the cost of chasing your dreams.
Exactly.
So, given how dazzling it looks on screen, it clearly wasn't just, thrown together. It feels like a really meticulously crafted vision. Yeah. What did the sources say about how it came together, even before Whiplash?
That's a great point. La La Land was actually conceived by Chazelle, the writer-director, even before he got all that acclaim for Whiplash in 2014.
Wow, really?
Yeah, apparently the script and the score, they were penned by Chazelle and Hurwitz before Whiplash even went into production. So it indicates this was a real long-standing vision, a passion project.
That level of planning, that dedication, it's pretty remarkable. So when you look at the actual filming, what techniques did they use to get that sort of enchanting look, especially with that tricky magic hour light?
Well, filming it involved a really meticulous process, especially relying on capturing that specific Los Angeles light during magic hour.
Right, which is such a short window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The crew only had about 30 minutes, maybe an hour, to film certain scenes each day, which meant they needed extensive rehearsals.
Makes sense.
They even, get this, they pre-shot scenes on an iPhone.
No way.
Yeah, just to fine-tune camera movements and where the actors should be. It allowed them to be way more efficient when the actual cameras were rolling.
That's pretty ingenious, using an iPhone to rehearse for magic hour. Do you think that kind of pressure, that intensity, maybe translated into the film's energy?
It's plausible, yeah. That kind of high wire act for the crew, it certainly could add a layer of kinetic energy to the final thing. And the camera choice was deliberate, too.
What did they use?
A Panavision Panaflex Millennium XL2 camera with an anamorphic 2X lens shot on 35mm film.
Okay, so proper old school feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That anamorphic lens gives it that signature wide cinematic scope, that slightly compressed, almost dreamy feel. Harks back to the golden age, makes those big choreographed scenes really pop.
And they used other techniques, too.
Yeah, like using two cameras sometimes for dialogue scenes, capturing them simultaneously, apparently helped get more genuine reactions from the actors.
And they really went for actual locations, didn't they? Like that huge freeway interchange in the opening number.
Yes, absolutely. The decision to film on real locations, like the Judge Harry Pregerson interchange, it added this unique quality. Chazelle wanted to evoke a sense of, like, vastness, but also authenticity within LA.
Even though it was produced by Summit, Lionsgate.
Right, a bigger studio subsidiary. But it still maintained this strong indie spirit, mostly because of Chazelle's really clear vision.
And that spirit clearly didn't hurt its success. It made, what, nearly $500 million worldwide?
Yeah, around $472 million globally on a pretty modest $30 million budget. Huge success. Showcased its global appeal and proved, that original musicals could still be viable.
That opening sequence, the one on the freeway with all the dancers?
Over 100 dancers, yeah.
It wasn't just visually spectacular, was it? It felt like it set up the whole film's tension right from minute one. This vibrant collective dream versus the individual struggle all happening in LA traffic.
That's a great reading of it. It anchors you in both the fantasy and the relatable frustration. Sets it apart from maybe more traditional musicals right away.
So beyond the visuals and the production challenges, the real heart of it, maybe its lasting appeal, it's the characters, right? Mia and Sebastian.
Definitely. Let's dive into their paths, how they intertwine.
Okay, so as we said, it's structured across those 4 seasons, following Mia and Sebastian's love story in L.A. Mia Dolan, Emma Stone's character. She's introduced as this aspiring actress, working as a barista right there on the Warner Brothers lot. Her journey feels very real, full of determination, but also vulnerability.
Yeah, she feels kind of stuck for 6 years in LA, right?
Exactly. But she evolves quite significantly. She ends up writing and producing her own play when the usual acting routes seem blocked.
And then there's Sebastian Wilder, played by Ryan Gosling. He's the passionate jazz musician, dreaming of opening his own club.
His internal conflict is really interesting.
Yeah, balancing his, purest artistic ideals versus maybe selling out a bit for commercial success, especially when he gets influenced by characters like John Legend's Keith.
Right, who represents a more modern, maybe more commercial approach to jazz.
Exactly, which Sebastian initially resists pretty strongly. And the supporting characters add depth, too. Mia's friends, like the one played by Rosemary DeWitt, they give insight into the artist's struggle.
And John Legend's character highlights that tension between tradition and contemporary music.
Precisely.
So the core themes are pretty clear. Ambition, love, sacrifice. And that main musical theme, Mia and Sebastian's theme.
Oh, yeah, the piano piece.
It first appears when Sebastian plays it, right?
Right.
That moment signifies the start of their connection and sort of encapsulates everything they desire, professional success and, well, personal happiness.
And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The power of color. The film's use of color is critical. It's not just pretty, it conveys their emotional states, their aspirations.
How so? Give us some examples.
Well, you see colors like red for passion, yellow often signals optimism, green for renewal. They're used really strategically. For instance, Mia sometimes wears a blue costume, and it can symbolize discomfort or isolation, making her stand out against maybe a more vibrant background.
That's fascinating.
Ah.
And their individual palettes. Mia often in reds for passion, Sebastian in blues for melancholy.
Exactly. It symbolizes their contrasting personalities.
But does the film ever, subvert those color expectations? Maybe to show internal conflict or a twist?
Absolutely. It's subtle, but one really powerful visual cue is how Mia, as she kind of evolves and gains confidence, she starts incorporating elements of Sebastian's signature style into her look. It's like a visual symbol of her integrating him into her life, even as she's navigating her own path. A beautiful merging of their worlds, even when they're diverging.
Wow, that's a subtle touch.
And this rich visual language, combined with the narrative structure, that constant conflict and resolution, the external career stuff mixed with their internal struggles, it really enhances viewer investment, makes that emotional climax hit so hard.
Okay, so this brings us to the ongoing conversation.
Yeah.
Its reception and legacy. We touched on the commercial success already. Nearly $500 million. Top grossing film of its awards season. Great word of mouth.
And interestingly, the film's reception was also kind of looked at through the lens of old media theories, like the magic bullet theory.
Right, the idea that media messages just hit everyone the same way.
Yeah, basically, that they're shot into audiences, influencing everyone uniformly, and La La Land's widespread emotional impact, that escapism it offered, it seemed to fit that model on the surface.
But that theory's mostly debunked now, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's crucial to remember that. Audience interpretations, as we clearly saw with La La Land, are way more complex. They're filtered through personal experiences, cultural backgrounds, all sorts of things, not uniform at all.
That's a really important point, especially when we consider some of the criticisms the film faced. It did get called out for underrepresenting diverse ethnic groups, didn't it?
It did, particularly African American and Hispanic communities, who were often seen in more peripheral roles. One source, Samuel Earle, back in 2017, articulated this concern, highlighting how the film's sort of nostalgic framing maybe excluded certain voices.
And just to be clear, we're impartially reporting on these viewpoints from the sources here, not endorsing any specific take.
Exactly. And then from an oral perspective, the soundtrack, the jazz-inspired score, really stands out for its authenticity.
Oh, so?
They actually used live recordings for many performances to enhance the emotional honesty, which apparently required meticulous planning and a lot of effort from the production team, but it resulted in this really distinctive sound.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together, the ambition, the craft, the reception, the criticisms, what's the big takeaway from La La Land's cultural footprint? What's its enduring legacy?
Well, La La Land undeniably made a significant cultural impact. It resonated deeply, partly by creating what our sources call a vintage plus aesthetic.
Vintage Plus, explain that.
It's like it honors the past, the golden age of Hollywood musicals, but it embraces contemporary methods and themes. So it works as both this loving tribute and a commentary on modern life, touching on things like cultural identity, even race.
It draws inspiration from older musicals too, right? Like West Side Story?
Oh yeah, definitely. West Side Story, Chicago.
Mhm.
You can see the influence in those elaborate musical numbers choreographed by Mandy Moore. Though some felt the musical elements themselves weren't super innovative, the emotional power of the score was undeniable.
And it didn't shy away entirely from trickier issues like race and cultural appropriation, especially with Sebastian, the jazz musician.
No, it engaged with them. It sort of illustrates the struggle for authenticity, maybe especially for a white artist in a genre rooted in African American culture, and raises questions about, the commercialization of art forms.
Did it satisfy everyone on that front?
Not entirely. Some critiques suggested it perhaps oversimplified those complexities, but it definitely sparked further dialogue about race and representation in Hollywood, which is important.
Right. But despite those debates,
Despite those, its masterful use of color and visual storytelling is almost universally praised. It really enhances the emotional depth, shows the progression of Mia and Sebastian's relationship, and encapsulates those broader themes of aspiration and sacrifice beautifully.
so its influence continues.
Absolutely. It's clear the film continues to inspire filmmakers and artists. It invites deeper reflection on personal dreams, sure, but also on societal challenges, all while blending that potent mix of nostalgia and modern sensibilities.
So as we reflect on La La Land's enduring allure and its definitely complex legacy, here's something to think about. How do films that evoke such powerful nostalgia for a golden age navigate the sort of imperative to represent a more diverse and authentic present? And maybe, what is our role as viewers in discerning those nuances?